Welcome to the Stronghold, the virtual haven for real men, the Player Supreme Show. I am your host, Player Supreme.
Yeah, fellas, welcome to the show. Let me start top of the show. I'm going to do some of the TW questions. Greece may drop in a little bit later. I've got a lot going on right now. But before I start my show, I've been on sosuave again for like 2 years. I would take some posts out, post on my own forum. I call them my funny papers. And I've done a few videos on some of the problems guys are having over there, and had my players, solve their problems. They're good test stuff. So it got out that I'm back on the site under a post a black guy made about bouncing, I think, or something like that. Well, basically, there's this guy named Rectum. I call him Rectum, but I think it's Reckle or some shit like that. It's kind of crazy. He talks to him about himself in third person. This guy's attacking Rectum. I call him Rectum. Rectum is going to, he talks like that. If that's not craziness, I don't know what it is. He's basically a keyboard jockey. I was watching him, insult other people, and I finally said something. So the fella, and I called him for what he is, but a keyboard jockey. So he's been on a jihad to expose me. And I took one of the brothers off that thread, who I'm going to do part of my show on. He saw the game in my words, so I'm gonna give him some free advice this time only. And I showed him my proof of game, the video that I took down. And let's see, I think he actually may have made a comment on it. I'm on number 9. Let's see, top of the game. My name on there is top of the game. Now I've got to recreate myself again, I guess. Good thing, on there I used to have beef with Solomon, and we're cool now. I like that. He did write, I saw your stuff and saw it 6 years ago. I didn't know that. Oh, he now knows who I am. He knows I'm Player Supreme. Today I realize it's the way and the light. I feel you can turn someone around quickly. Now this guy, Rectum, is attacking Solomon because he put up a video. He's one of those guys that are pseudo-intellectual. They want to be seen as smart. Here, let me show you guys the avatar this idiot is using. I'm not giving too much attention because he thrives, they thrive on attention. And it's not worth it. Just a keyboard jockey. Okay, this is his avatar. Notice he's trying to be like this pseudo thinker guy. And those type of guys, they're lonely little men that rush home, if they even work, to get on the internet, to go to these sites to feel like big men. YouTube has them. sosuave has them. Forums pick up these weirdo types all over the place. This guy is so whacked, as I said, he talks about himself in third person. So there's a post, Player Supreme sosuave. One guy's complaining, I'm not Player Supreme, don't know him at all, I'm not one of his followers, blah, blah, blah. Has he ever posted here? Basically, he's complaining because he says, I've seen several of his videos. He always mentions sosuave in a negative way, saying everyone is a nerd who posts here, and he's seen pictures of the members, and they're all dorks. Not all people were dorks, ugly types, but yeah, back then a lot of them were these little internet nerds. I call as I see it. Someone's Player Supreme selling POF crap to Forever Alones. I don't even know what a Forever Alone is. I don't know what that is. He went and got one of my videos. It came out, someone released it because I was on a thread about POF. And I took my name off and I put it under a different account, and someone figured out who I was. So it's going all over the place. When a guru comes around, these guys start pissing on the ground, and the ones who are fake, they really start to act up. That's what I've noticed. So it's kind of a compliment to me. Pin Kitten's still on there. I didn't realize that. I said hi to her. Her post is the one I use for you guys who can't get over the girl that you broke up with, as I've stated before. So let's delve into the problem this one brother is having in his game with females. Let me go ahead and stop sharing and get us back on track. All right. So I got an email on that particular site, so simple or so suave, sorry. Top of the game, I like your posting. I went through a bad relationship, had quite a bit of mojo stripped out of me over the years. I played football in high school and college and a martial art engineer by trade, though. And that's the killer right there. He has an engineer mindset. I've talked about that, that type of mindset before. I don't have experience with physical people management. And he's speaking like an engineer now. Per se, such as a cop or bouncer, I was wondering, would 6 months to a year of a part-time in a bouncer job raise those qualities in me? Yes, they would. That would be seen in my demeanor and presence and be a good thing for my love life. It could be a conversation piece too, as I'm 45 years old, too old to be doing that. Actually, no, you're not too old. There's a good program on in the BBC, not Big Black, you know what I mean, but yeah, over in England, on bouncers. They have their own show. You can watch episodes of it on YouTube, fellas. And some of the bouncers are in their 50s. I attached some pics. I do Muay Thai, 6'2", 245, solid like cola, but with abs and striations on legs. So he's 245 with lower body fat. I do dumbbell curls with 95 pounds each. That's impressive. Dumbbell militaries with 115 for 8 reps. That's very good, damn good. Incline dumbbells with 145s, slant board sit-up, 3 plates on my stomach, 135. Squats with only a belt and flimsy shoes, 645 times 8. So the brother is built. He shouldn't actually need to do bouncing, but there's more to the story. He goes, I'm business-minded, don't want to ruin that, but if this experience can change and add to my life for the better, I'm all for it. The second email to me, my current situation, 3 female friends, all who invite me to things, who go into their purses and pockets for me. If I take them out to dinner or a trip, will do the same for me in return. The key is, are you fucking these friends? If not, you're a fool. One hot girl, main chick, I've been messing with for 6 years. Okay. She's selfish. I'm guilty of hoe chasing. He knows my stuff. And putting her on a pedestal, bad. So you know your mistakes. She doesn't hardly go into her pockets for me and been in my pocket. So you're enamored by, as you said yourself, hot girl. You got to take that hotness off that pedestal in your mind where it exists only in your mind. She's not reliable unless it benefits her. I don't know why you're with her. Guilty of flaking on me. I don't know why you're with this bitch. Sex is done when and how she likes it. It's hard for me to read this without me flaring up, brother. First, women do, in parentheses, first women to do me like this. First woman to do to me like this. You allow this to happen to yourself. And brother, that's some bitch assness. Okay? Don't go bounce. You got to fix yourself. And it's not often enough. And then she got nerve to put demands on you? All because she's hot? Really? That's not good enough for me. My blank got crossed out, whatever it was, gets harder when I have control and the woman complies. His dick gets harder, as it so should be. She also got into my career field with money and time coming from me to make it happen. Wow. Oh, fuck. You paid for her to go to school and get an education so she can become an engineer as well. Wow. We need to put a big S on your chest. 2 S's for super simp. I've heard of brothers like you. I've heard of your type. She hasn't spent any of her new money on me in any way. You do realize this is very hard for me to read, right? You know how I've lived my life. You've seen my proof of game. You've seen the video of signs. You've seen, I can show you a photo of a female kissing my feet. Okay? So you know how I've lived my life. To see a black man living like this, and don't let this be a white chick, man. She sounds like a sister though, but we'll play brothers that way at times. She's also going to be forced to move back in with me or with her mom's. First thing, I'm gonna give you some advice. You're probably not gonna listen to me. Okay? I already know your type. You're not gonna listen. Since she lost her job. So she lost her job, and hold on. The last time we lived together, she didn't do much that helped me. Of course not. She was selfish, was a selfish bee, thinking about herself. I haven't let go of her because of the time, money, and energy I invested. Again, there's that engineer mind, fellas. And we'd like to get some of that back. You will never, ever get it back, okay? It's not gonna happen. You can't flip the script on this bitch. You could try to act all cool and tough and try to flip the script. It ain't gonna work with her. She already has you. She's already pushed you down to the bottom. She has no respect for you. Zero. You are a walking wallet to her. And this is hard and embarrassing for me to read. Sorry to put your game on blast like this. What can I do before I completely wash my hands of her to gain respect? You can't. To gain her reciprocity and force her to appreciate, you can't force a bitch to do shit. To appreciate what she have in me, I thought you said you were in here, has in me, and take care of me, or I drop her. I don't mind cheating. I thought you said you had 3 females. Some verbal abuse, the bouncing. See, you're trying to go do bouncing and get tough, all for one chick. This chick owns your mind, brother. Sorry, I've been sick for the last 7 years. I don't mind ignoring her and following your guidelines to the letter to get this turned around. We'll do this after I've given up, but I want to flip this around before I give up, if possible. One of your students must have been able to flip a woman around. He had been hoe chasing and was dogging him out and cheating on him, and get her to comply and respect him. No, I don't think I know of any students that had a woman this bad flip the script. See, what you don't realize is you're a fool, okay? I told you my advice is gonna be hard. You're a goddamn fool. You still want to try to get something out of this. Get what? For what purpose? The bitch is a write-off. White folks are very smart in business, right? You know that. And when they see something as a losing asset, they write off and they move on. We need to take that lesson. And there's a saying that we have in our culture, charge her to the game. That was your life lesson in the game. She taught you about yourself, that you're weak. For all that size and muscle, you don't have it up here. And this is where you got to get it. See, when guys try to flip the script on when they allow this type of shit to happen, the girls blow out. They end up fighting and arguing. It's not worth it. You're not gonna flip the script and she suddenly starts bowing to her knees. If you look at her past, she's never bowed. Why do you think she got fired or lost her job? Obviously, she wasn't valuable to the company she was working for. They had some layoffs. I'm sure she was one of the first ones to go. This type of girl has hard lessons to learn in life. And because of her looks, she's used her looks her entire life. What makes you think she's going to suddenly stop doing what she does and how she is for one dude that she's already kicked to the curbs, fucked over, and, listen, owned? She owns you. That's why you came to me for help. Okay, now, first of all, don't blame me if a little bit of advice I'm going to spit your way doesn't work. Part of you knows what you got to do. Shit. Let me send out a message for help to Greece. It's been a bad couple of days, fellas. I've been sleeping in my chair. So I tell you guys need to get your shit handled before I'm gone. Okay, let's talk about, of course, you got to reverse the dynamics between you and her. You got to grow some balls. You got to be willing to walk away. Right now, she knows you're not going to walk away. She knows that if she walks out of your life, you're going to call her crying, which I'm sure you've already done. You're going to be sniveling. You're going to be begging. She's hot. I had a fellow that I was working with named The Pun. Same problem. He put girls on a pedestal like that, and he had a bunch of chicks. And he even gave a bitch to his key to come back after he got busted twice. Okay? So to flip the script, you've got to... Oh, Greece is on channel watching me right now. Greece, I sent you the link to come in. Let me resend it. As you see, I'm coughing. I need your help on this dude, man. I'm coughing like a mofo. Here goes the link to the Hangout again. Okay, back to what I was saying. You got to change your mentality around. You got to grow a pair of balls. You got to be willing to walk away. Right now, as you're writing me, you're not going to walk away. You talk about get some kind of investment. That's that nerd shit. Okay? You're a nerd with muscles and size. That's who become engineers. You got an engineer mindset. As I learned when I was doing Toastmasters, engineers have a different mentality. What's funny to you is not going to be funny to women. like jokes. The speaker said something about Bridget Buttons, and all you gaggle of geeks, nerds will crack up. Ah! Nah, brother, you got to change your mentality. Okay, you got to be willing to walk the fuck away and say fuck her, and you're not willing to do that just yet. But you got to get there. Welcome, Grease. You've been listening to me talk to this fella?
What's the origin of the story?
So suave.
That's all you need to say. That's all you need to say. Okay.
This brother has his bitch that has him wrapped around his finger. And she doesn't participate. She doesn't give him anything. He pays for everything. He paid for education, all that kind of shit. And he wants to recoup some of his investment. That's what I try to explain to you, brother. You ain't gonna recoup, but
so
I want to give him just a few more ideas. So if you got any input on this, please. Something.
So he must be an older man if he can pay for a woman's education. He's 45.
He's 45.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Is he black?
Yes.
Black older black tricks love to do that. They love to do that.
Jovina says sounds shameful. Yeah.
Yeah. Older black simps love to do that. They love to do that. So it just from you when you said that is he paying when you said he's paying for her tuition, an older black simp just came to mind. So I think to the young lady who's doing that to him, very good for her because I definitely respect the game. And unfortunately, there has to be some victims out there. So good for her. I hope she really keeps doing it to him and gets him for everything he's got. Other than that, he's a lifer trick now. He's a lifelong simp. He'll never break out of this spell. There's nothing that you and I can do for him because if he's 45 years old and hasn't mastered himself, he never will. So he should just keep tricking. And if he's watching this program, I say, you're a 45-year-old simp. There's no rehab for you. There's nothing that we can do for you. Keep being a trick. He's lost. If you're 45 and you're doing this, I could see if that was his wife and his wife was taking care of the kids and he said, look, I'm going to pay for you to go back to school. Or it's a long-time woman that's doing him right, living at the house, and they're in a square relationship. That's different, but he's a bona fide trick. It's probably DePun's father or some shit.
No. To the brothers, sorry we're laughing at it's humorous to us brothers who have been in the game and rose to the top of the game, as like Brother Grease has done. So basically, you have to be able to flip the script in your head, your mindset. And it's going to take a great deal of pain.
Yeah.
You're going to have your heart ripped out of your chest before you change. That's what I've learned in my own life.
Yeah.
And Grease has actually learned in his life too. Yeah. It took a great amount of pain or something like that to make you change. And yeah.
And the thing is,
we haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah. And we're laughing. Oh, go ahead.
I'm glad you reached out to me. As I said, you got to flip the script in your head. You got to grow some balls. You got to be willing to walk away. And as I see it now, you don't have that by the words of your post. When you're ready to walk away from her and you're pissed off and you're crying and snots come down your mouth, then it's time you'll change for sure. I could say, hey, grow some balls, go out and try bouncing to make yourself feel more masculine, but it's really got to come from up here, okay? It's got to be inside you. And right now, it's not there. Unfortunately, and that's why this woman has done this to you. That's why she has, basically taken you for your money and shit on you. And she controls the relationship. You're letting a woman drive, okay? When you let a woman drive, you're heading for a car wreck, all right? Look at the car wreck you're living right now as a life. Fucked up, isn't it? You feel demasculated, or what's the word? Emasculated?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have no balls. Like Grease told this guy, a bank manager, last week or something like that. You have no balls, man. the dude hung up on Grease. He said something Me and Joey were cracking about this. He said, you know, your entire life, you probably had no balls.
Well, I told him exactly because we were dealing with somebody who just wasn't handling our business right. And I got the guy on the phone. And I said, you know, I'm going to tell you something. I said that I think that your wife has told you and other people have told you in your lives. I said, you lack balls. I said, the reason why you lack balls is you've never been a man. And that's why you're not helping us today. And the dude said, yeah, I've heard that before. And then he just hung up the phone. Motherfucker just folded. He just clicked, and we never heard from him again.
I'm a bitch. He called me on that, man.
And the thing that's going on with this guy is that he lacks balls, and we're not laughing at you because we find it humorous. We're laughing at you because it's so tragic. But I would not stop this guy for simping for anything. I need him out there simping because when that woman is getting money out of you, she's calling me late at night. She's sending me dirty texts. Exactly. She wants me to do things to her that you can't do. And I will tell you this, and I'm sure this guy is going to listen to this and he's going to shake his head and say, well, that's not true. I've been with plenty of women who have tricks, and they love to tell me how bad they are just abusing these guys. And the stories that I have heard from fucking these women, and they just tell me this stuff, it's tragic. But hey, you're paying for that bitch's education. Hey,
or paid for it. I think it's done now.
You know what? I'm gonna suggest you have a baby with her too, because that's where you're gonna be heading. Because she's gonna get an 18-year annuity out of you. So make sure you're not using any condoms and just enjoy the simp life. You know,
or grow the fuck up, man up, grow your fucking balls, man. Quit letting bitches do that for you. Drop the whole hotness thing. It's so cheap and superficial to me. You know, go by how the bitch makes you feel. If she makes you happy, that's the female you want to be with. Fuck all the superficial bullshit. You know, that's your mindset. That's the way you're raised. That you got that engineer type of mind.
Yeah.
You know, and you're looking for value and bridge abutments and shit like that. No, it ain't gonna happen. Okay. So
I'm done, man. There's nothing. I don't even know why he wrote you. That's the strange thing. Why would a trick come to the mountain of game and attempt to climb it to get an ant? Why would you write us asking?
I was on sosuave, and someone figured out who I am. So that now there's a bunch of posts on sosuave. Player Supreme scammer, Player Supreme selling something, forever alones or some. I don't know what that fuck that is. On internet dating shit. You know, I offered some advice. I've been there for 2 years. Never offered selling products, and I got this idiot named I call him Rectum. He goes by the name of Reckle or some shit like that. He's like a keyboard jockey. So I said something bad. So the guy's, you know, obsessing on me now. You know how they do it. Before. So anyway, that's what it was from. He saw that I had game and said, hey, this guy has game. Listen to him. So good for you for having enough game to recognize that I'm spitting the truth on that site. This situation you're in, man, is pretty fucking bad. Yeah. You should never have been in this situation. And I'm trying to convince you to actually just walk away from it and start over. But I try to give you the advice that you need to turn around. And I basically said you got to grow your balls in your life and put the script in your head. You got to be willing to walk away, which you're not, which will kill everything. She'll see it, and she'll test you on that. So be prepared to be tested if you try to flip the script.
He's not going to walk away. He's gonna look at your advice. He's gonna look at what I'm saying and be like, well, that young little nigga over there don't know nothing, and this old man can't tell me nothing. And he's just a simp. You're 45 years old. It's done. I say it's done. It's done for you. Kill yourself. I mean,
Nobody's a bigger simp than I was back when I was in my 20s, man.
Nah.
You know, I knew that my ex-wife stopped taking her birth controls deliberately, and I still got married.
Well, there's a difference. If you're in your 20s, I can somewhat say, hey, I can understand if somebody's simping. In your 30s, there's no excuse. In your 40s, literally just stop living, because you can't come back from that. You just can't. You can't be a trick at 45 and say, well, I'm just gonna. No, it doesn't work like that. What your consciousness changes every 7 years almost?
Yeah,
And
they say the cell in your body has been replaced as well. And if he could spend the next 7 years of life changing, then in his 50s, he'll be even a good player. But anyways, I don't want to clown the guy. I didn't bring him up to the clown. Hadn't read the whole thing yet.
can you forward it to me? I got to read it. Or,
Huh?
yeah, I want to read it. Can you send it to me?
Yeah. Let me do just that. It's a sad tale, but hold on. Let's see. Let's go forward.
How can you be 45 years old? Ooh, man, you need to stop.
Hey, there are dudes out there who are black. My ex-wife, when she was dating, she wouldn't even give them any, and they still pay for dinners. All they wanted was conversation.
I got a worse one, a real bad. I had a real bad one. When I was living in San Francisco, I met a dude who was a retired Navy SEAL, and the guy was staring at me one day because I was on the BART, this subway train. That's, well, you know what the BART is. And there was a girl that was choosing, walked over, stepped up, started talking to her, pulled out my phone, got the number on the phone, and she was skinning and grinning. We all got off on our stop, and the guy ran after me. And I thought he was coming to attack me. He goes, "Hey, can I talk to you for a second?" And I was like, "What's up with you?" And he said, "How'd you do that?" And I said, "Get off the train?" And he's like, No. How did you go up and know that girl wanted your phone number? And I said, before we get into that, I said, "Who are you?" And this dude was telling me who he was. And he said, I got to go to work. He goes, "Can I get some tips from you or something?" So I said, "Yeah." I said, "Take me out to lunch tomorrow. Here's my number and we'll talk." I said, "But you're buying. I'll tell you the truth of the game." The dude called me a clockwork yesterday, the next day after. We go out, tells me, and I said, "Tell me about yourself." He said, "Well, I'm in my late 40s, used to be a Master Chief in the United States Navy, Naval Special Warfare." The guy was a master on the battlefield. And then I said, "Well, tell me your problems with women." He goes, "They just don't respect me, and they end up leaving, and, they say I'm needy and all this stuff." And I'm just like sitting there with my eyes just wide open, because I'm like, how can somebody join the Navy, become a Navy SEAL, the epitome of masculinity almost, survive countless of combat operations, but can't keep a bitch at home? And so I gave this guy a little bit of game, and I just started unpacking what was going on in his life. And the thing was, he was a simp when he was younger, a simp in his 30s, started getting into bad relationships with women, and they would just use and abuse this guy. And I asked him, I said, "If I came to you and I said, I'm going to punch you in your face," I said, "what are you going to do to me?" He goes, "I'd tear you apart." And I said, "So if a woman with disrespect and comes to you, what are you going to do?" And he goes, "I'd try to take her to the store and buy her happiness." that's what he knew as a trick. And he goes, "What can I do to stop this?" And I said, "The first thing you need to do," I said, and I was very kind and gentle with this guy, I said, "You need to grow as a man." And he stopped, and he had to absorb that. And he goes, "What do you mean by that?" I said, "You're going to have to kill the bad habits in you in order to be the man that you're supposed to be." And he was like, "Well, what does that mean?" I said, "Okay." I said, "Tell me about the female you're dealing with." He was dealing with a woman in her 30s, had 2 kids, real fine, but that's all she could do. And she was getting his Navy check, and every time she would throw a tantrum, he would take her out. And I said, "Look," I said, "the next time she calls you and throws a tantrum, just say, 'I'm not going to mess with you right now. I don't have time for this.'" And I said, "And watch what she does." And he goes, "Should I do it right now?" I said, No. Call me tomorrow and let me know what happened."
Yeah.
So 2 days go by, didn't hear from this guy. And I'm thinking to myself, maybe he just wasn't ready for the advice I was giving him. No big deal to me. I got a free lunch. Dude calls me and says, "Hey, can I buy you lunch again?" And I go and meet him, and he has this different energy about him. He said, And he was really emotional when he was talking to me about this. He goes, "You gave me advice that I tell young recruits, you know, how to be a better marksman or demolition man or combat diver." He said, "But I never took my own advice." And he showed me the text messages, and he ended up firing the bitch because she was acting disrespectful, things of that nature. And he just said, I'm not trying to do this anymore, and just fired the bitch. And I was really impressed, So
that's really good.
Yeah. So if this guy can't take a little bit of advice and just make that subtle change in his life, there's no hope for him. It's weird.
Now here's the problem. He's an engineer, and like this W guy that we talked in a minute, he sounded like an engineer as well. I gave him the advice that he actually needs. Grow your balls, be ready to walk away. That's actually the only advice he needs. Yeah. Once he acquires that, she might change the script, but she'll just leave. But they're complaining about the way males are. There are males out there that want girls get strap-ons and doing shit like that. Just some bitch asses going on. It's just fucked up out there in the world now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, let's go over the TW post because he wrote to both of us. TW wrote, "Hey player, last video was good from you and Greece, and seemed like viewers liked the info from that video. Hopefully you guys can be together with this response. I live in a country where culturally the girls are more Christian-based and geared towards dating, so I guess that's why we're that way." And I didn't realize he was not American. I guess he must be African, raised in Europe someplace or somewhere. I don't know. It doesn't say. So that explains the English and the weird questions. English is in his first language, although he speaks it pretty well. He writes, "I learned a more right brain for the channel." No, you're not. Go like this. Okay. Now look at your thumbs. What thumb's on top? If your right thumb on top, then your left brain. If your left thumb is on top, then your right brain. Okay? Our brain make me go, huh? What? You guys seen me do that before. They are left brain type questions. He goes, "So I learned better with scripts. Right brain people don't learn better with scripts. Left brain people do. I see the structure of questions, roadmap as training wheels on the bike. Then I can build confidence and take them off after the flow naturally. I can understand that. Many guys I've seen on the forum appear to learn from some questions I hear. I don't know about that. There are some left brain fellows on my forum and some right brain ones. I've done the test on the forum, and some guys actually came out right brain. Doesn't matter. You both are at different levels that we all are trying to achieve. I can admit all I've seen is mostly dating info online, except you and Tariq Nasheed. Okay, so it's really an adjustment for some of us out there. I get no shame in saying that PUA info was so prevalent online. It's what most of us saw and are shifting from. Possible for daters to shift to players, right? Yeah, I was a dater. I thought if you slept with a girl that she wouldn't sleep with someone else. Boy, I learned the hard way. Shut up, Jovina. Cackling. Okay, she's pointing a finger and laughing at me. I like hearing both of you and Greece weigh in together, as we get a lot from old wisdom and young perspective still in the game.
I'm not that young.
Pardon the long questions and grammar. Sometimes I'm trying to get my thoughts out as fast as they come to mind. Take your time, brother. Next time, take your time. Restructure your questions. I get that my line of questions might come off frustrating at times for you guys. Well, now I figured it out. You're African, living in a fucking foreign country, too. And you said Christians. Are you a fucking Muslim? Sorry, are you a Muslim? Not fucking Muslim, a Muslim? for you guys, but I'm focused on improving my game and see this channel as a place to learn from. I would like you in Greece to bear with my questions and help out with following. I see Greece doesn't do the clubs, and neither do I. Well, that's too bad, brother. You're a young player. You should be out there where 64% of women want to meet you. But neither do I. But could Greece speak on the questions asked / things he tries to achieve on coffee dates, to effectively build, I gotta stop being a grammar nerd, Greece, build a deep emotional connection / rapport with the girls. You hear that? Could you speak on questions and things that you would say, deep emotional connection or rapport with females? That's your first question.
All right. So let me see this one right here, because I got his thing up.
Yeah.
I love how he spells my Greece is in Greek. All right. No, so to answer this, TW?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
He does smell like Greece.
Yeah, exactly. So I see Greece doesn't do the clubs, and neither do I. But could Greece speak on the questions asked / things he tries to achieve on the coffee date to effectively build a deep emotional connection rapport with the girl? All right. So my objective on a coffee date is, I'm not trying to have sex. I don't even touch the female or anything like that. It's really, as the boss says, to see how deep the rabbit hole goes. Because when I go on a coffee date, I'm trying to qualify if this female is someone whom I want to even invest my time or energy with. Now, I want you to think about that for a minute. This female is someone I'm trying to qualify to see if I want to spend my time or energy with. And why am I doing that? Because not every woman is going to be able to be put on. Not every woman is ready to be with me, and vice versa. So I like to really go there and just see the lay of the land, just to see what this female is about. Is she submissive enough? Okay. Is she able to follow commands? You know, if I say, hey, can you go get me a napkin? You know, is she lively? Is she bright? Is it something that she has that I'm innately attracted to? See what I'm doing there? I'm managing my time as a player. And like Supreme has always said, you have to manage your player dating life as a CEO. And unfortunately, I had to put dating in there because a lot of you guys are undercover daters. So what I like to do is just go and get the life story. I want to see what she's about. What is she passionate about? And if she's passionate about it, does she do it well? Is it a woman that has pride in herself, you know? How does she move? How does she walk? I want to feel that energy that's coming from her. So what I'm doing is finding out who she is, past, present, and in her future. So that's what I'm going to spend the time doing. Now, I do things also on coffee dates a bit differently. And this segues into much advanced player game because I'm going to attack it from two fronts here. Before I go on a coffee date, I'm talking to the female, I'm texting her. Okay? I have a bad habit of really priming the pump and getting her extremely interested and mentally open. So by the time I get to the coffee date, 8 out of 10 have lead to sex the first time. I've had that happen many times. The other 2 out of the 10, I get her so ready to go that I want to break contact, because for me, I always come, as the boss has said, come at a position of power. And for me, I like to leave a female waiting, like a 3-legged dog with an itchy belly. I want to have her at that coffee table, stressed, irritated, hot and bothered, and then I go home. Or I have other things to do, even if I ain't got shit to do. And that's another small tactic that you should use. If you're going to be on a coffee date, no more than an hour, be the first to go, because you have things to do. And I always like to use that on women, that, hey, that's about my time. I got some things to catch up on. What time are you going to be home? Oh, 9 o'clock? Give me a call at 9 o'clock and we'll continue. You gotta, even if you ain't got shit to do, you gotta give the appearance that you have something to do. So for me, it goes both ways. But for you, as someone who's just coming into the game, I suggest that's all you do. Get the life story. See if it's a female that is worthy enough to put your time in, and see if this is somebody you like. You're just qualifying the woman. You're not there to fuck. You're not there to get money out of her or anything like that. You're just showing up and seeing what she's about. Let's see if that does that answer his question.
Well, just one more. Let me also say that Greece is correct. It's not a bad habit. It is a great habit. I did that with my internet dating. By the time we met for coffee, she was already primed and pumped. That's why I had 100% closure rate on the females that passed my qualification. We went home, we fucked. You get her amped up, and you guys have seen my emails and stuff like that. So he's absolutely correct. Now, as for questions, he talked about what's she passionate about. You simply ask her, what's she passionate about. Simple question. What gets you excited? What gets you up in the morning? It's just asking the question. Okay.
Yeah.
If you could share some actual questions that you would use, like I just did.
Okay. For me, I like to look at a woman and I'll ask her, tell me about that ring that's on your finger. That looks real nice. Where'd you get that from? Where do you shop at? Really? Oh, okay. How long did it take you to get out of grad school? Oh, what's the challenges you find being a lawyer? What made you want to go into engineering? It's very interesting. Why do you ride horses? Tell me about where you were born and raised. You ever plan on moving back there a few years from now? You see how it just flows out of my fucking mouth? That's
what Grease is a master of, asking questions. I've noticed that about his game. He's always asking questions like, why did you pick my profile? What are you looking for? He asked them questions. Okay.
Yeah.
So
because the more that the more a woman talks to you, the more she's going to feel comfortable with you. And I know that you guys always miss over this one very generic statement women make, but God damn it, if this is women say this shit all the time, to me especially. I feel very comfortable around you, like I can let my hair down. 90% of you guys will look at that statement and just dismiss it. But you have to look at the truth that the woman is saying. Women want to feel comfortable with you. You know how many creeps, suckers, simps, losers, guys that will see your profile and just say vulgar shit? You know how much of that she deals with at work, at school, or online? And then she comes to you. You have to make her feel comfortable because she deals with a lot of that bullshit already. So ask questions and set the type of energy, especially within yourself, to make her want to feel comfortable. Okay? Instead of asking about what do you like sexually, ass, titties, all fuck that. Get to know her as a woman. And I know that's probably not what a lot of you guys want to hear, but that's really how you should start.
Yeah, I agree. He also writes, I get that it's a flow in various topics and not a set rule or structure, but he's gonna still look for scripts. Watch. Just for how I learn to get it right and other similar guys listening to me, he's the only one that's ever asked me this shit. Take me through the typical coffee date questions. Grease just did that, by the way, to get to know her life story and make her feel a bond enough to then take it sexual. Okay, so you got to pre-qualify the women. You got to get them excited in advance. See, my modus operandi was I went to the clubs, I met in the clubs, I pulled them that night. If not, I boned them within the week.
Yeah.
Sometimes one is the designated driver. I'll text her as soon as I leave the club if I don't pull her from the club. I didn't focus on getting a whole bunch of numbers. That's some silly shit. I focused on one female, pulled her that night. I would text her message, give me a call when you get this, after you get this, and I'll try to either go over to her place after the club or get her come to my place. That's worked successfully for me quite a few times. As for texting before, after that, if she couldn't come over, only thing I text were instructions because she's already known me. I'm only gonna do this for women that I put my lips on them in the club. So she's already felt me. She knows me, and she's more comfortable around me, excited by me. So you're looking for a script to guide you through this process, and a script will make you more fucked up.
Yeah.
than you already are. It'll make you more robotic because you're gonna try to think, okay, what question did I miss? And if you miss a question on the script, it will fuck you up. You got to learn to develop your natural flow of communication.
Yeah.
Why is it so hard to just have a fucking conversation?
Yeah.
Fucking robot thing.
And when
okay?
you
Stop
when you
roboticness. Yes, Chris.
Oh, I was about to say, when you use scripts, they're only preparing you for, it's only a countermeasure for certain things, which is basically her answering your questions. But what if she throws you a curveball? You know, like,
yeah, off the script,
yeah, like I got 2 kids, or had an abortion last week, or I'm still living with my boyfriend or girlfriend, and I'm trying to get out.
How about the subject of my next podcast? I was molested.
Yeah, that's a doozy, huh? And if she tells you that on a first coffee date, I mean, it could mean a myriad of things. She might be testing your reaction to see how much empathy you have for her, or she could be telling you that as for her it's a wall that she has, you know, to screen guys out who really don't want to deal with that. So here's the better thing. Here's a better way I guess you can handle that. Write down a list of these questions we're talking about and say them to yourself as if you're just having a conversation in thin air. You're going to have to say it to yourself until it feels normal. And when it feels normal, the more genuine it's going to be sounding coming out and how it's going to feel coming out of your throat. If you're having trouble with these questions, I suggest you go up and talk to people, right? Say you're at a ice cream stand or a restaurant, or you're at a park chilling out. If you're having trouble asking these questions to a girl, go and ask them to a guy, you know, casual conversation. Do that until you feel comfortable sitting down with a female and then you can answer these questions. I mean, ask these questions.
The lunch. Watermelon! Melancia, thanks for reminding me. Yeah. Also, you're not going to pull a girl from a coffee date to the bed. Get that out your head. You got to crawl before you can walk in this game.
Yeah, not yet. You won't do that yet.
Yeah. So focus on having a good conversation and building rapport. All right.
Yeah.
Next, he says, "I get that it's a." Well, I've already done that. Sorry. I once heard Grease ask on a past hangout, to one of your students if he's trying to just fuck. When it boils down to it, daters or players want to get sexual. I got a statement about that. Let me say right now that it's wasn't about the sex for me. I got tired of being female good sex toy. Okay. So, but many times you have to get to know the girl and build rapport, yet it doesn't result in having sex. How do you know? It has for me. It has for Grease. So you made a statement that's actually not correct, but from your point of view, guys find effective that leads to sex. Basically, an in-depth conversation on from the coffee date to the bedroom. Okay, I think Grease just talked about how he primed the pump. Also, I did the same thing. My coffee dates, I learned the coffee date thing at the end of my game. I got on the Pimps Network. They talked about, you know, interviewing bitches on coffee dates. I tried out. I actually enjoyed coffee dates. It was fun. But I set them up with my internet dating. I didn't go to the club, get a girl's phone number, and say, hey, let's go on a coffee date.
Yeah.
All right? The females that I bone contact with, my tongue down their throat, them bowing to me in the club. So it's just a matter of when and where.
Yeah.
Like my own girlfriend now.
I discovered coffee dating through my own journey first in the game because I got tired of going out and meeting women and discovering that they weren't a match or what I was seeking. So I decided to just be as neutral as possible and just get them out into the open and meet them and just see what happens. And I didn't learn the term coffee date until I got under Supreme and learned the game. And then I really learned effectively what coffee dates are for. So that's what what I did. Wait, which question is he talking about? Okay.
You go down to the
Yes,
paragraph. I once heard Greece. Yeah.
So yeah, his sentence structure is so fucked up here. I can't find. Okay. What things did you guys find effective that leads to sex? All right. So I think I can answer this one, which, like I said, it's been talked about before. For me, I have a really good voice. I know how to enunciate, and how to talk, and I know how to get a woman in her guttural state. And for me, in order to get a woman ready to go, especially on first contact, she's already talked to me and came over the phone. And when a woman is coming for you over the phone, her mind is wide open. So I'm already putting her fantasies, the things that she doesn't talk about that turns her on, in her head. So by the time she sees me, she's feeling my energy. She hears my voice, and that resonates with her. And she wants to now experience that. So that's how I was doing it leading up to that coffee date and getting them ready, or also getting them ready to go to the bedroom. Because they've already been sold on what they've heard. She's already came on the phone with me. She's already has that picture in her head of what she's going to get and how she's going to get it. So she's all packaged up and ready to go. So when it gets to that point, she's now looking to me to say, you be the man and lead the way. And for me, it was always, we'd go out, I'd meet her somewhere, have a nice drink or something to eat. Then it's me simply saying, let's go back to my place. There's no negotiation. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. She's ready. And Supreme has seen it before, where I met a woman in Portland and sealed the deal over a hangout and showed up there and sat right next to her. 20 minutes later, literally, we were out the door. And this is the woman who found me, started coming over the phone. I got in her head, asking about her fantasies and things of that nature, and seeing it and qualifying this woman. She was with it already. So that's how you kind of want to get to that level. You really have to talk to these women, and you also have to be that guy that she feels comfortable with sharing these things with to get her to that level. Let's see.
I think Greece's advice is more valuable than mine, because I met my women in the nightclub. I took them home. My control and domination occurred in the bedroom. While I had sex with them, my mouth is open. I'm talking. I'm spitting game in their ear. Greece gained his women the deeper way. By the time he met them, like you said, he made them come already over the phone.
Yeah.
So
think about it like a sniper shooting a shot. He's doing it from long distance. So by the time he sends that bullet and it hits its target, it's already done. And that's how I learned it, because I'm not a nightclub guy. I'm too old for nightclubs, and I don't have the patience literally to stand there. That's just not me. Yeah, and and I can't dance for shit. So I already knew that was one thing about the entire game I was not going to change. So for me, I really had to do things in a more difficult way, is to talk to women, to get in their heads and to get everything ready. So by the time I showed up, she already knew what was going on and she was with it. So it was no challenge.
When you bring your ass to Sacramento, me and Jody, we're going to take you out. And I'm going to push your big ass out the floor. I'm going to film this. I'm going to have a good ass laugh, brother.
I'm not dancing. And I'm not dancing with your woman, man. I'm serious, man. I can't. Some things I won't do. I'm gonna be standing there just no. Yeah. I danced for New Year's once when I went out with this girl that I was hanging out with, and her friend, that Mexican married woman that me and the homeboys had ran a train on. And the woman that I was with, and we were dancing, I just hung up. She had this real nice ass, and I just grabbed onto the hips, and she did the rest. And that worked for me. And literally, that was the only time I ever danced in a club. And it will never happen again. Never.
Oh,
no.
Let's move on. I hear Greece say he's good at conversations. This to me is where many guys struggle. That's very true. Most conversations are a flow, but what things, here he is back to conversation questions again. Last questions, do you recommend I concentrate on during the drink date that can allow me to decipher unmet desires to align myself with? So he thinks
He sounds
and magically pull all this shit out of her being a beginner. I say again, you focus on having just a decent conversation. The conversation is flow. She might mention, "Oh, I just got back from Japan." You go in that direction, not you with your ulterior motive, asking pre-rehearsed questions. It's gonna look robotic. Grease?
Well, I'm looking at this guy, the way how he says his sentences, how he types out and says things. He talks like he's a high-level mage in Dungeons and Dragons. Because this line that kills me, I concentrate during the drink date that it can allow me to decipher her unmet desires to align myself with. Jesus Christ, if that's not a $10 fucking sentence. So I see a struggle here. He's talking like he's coming from a very high level of education and superiority, and you really need to bring it down, like about 40,000 feet. And I think what the struggle a lot of these guys have is that I think we're dealing with a lot of right brain guys here. Very intellectual, very smart, but not very people smart. And when you're bringing your intellectual brain into it, everything you're going to talk is intellectual. I want to see your natural state. Who are you when you're at home? Who are you when you're walking in the mall, or when one of your friends gives you a call and says, "Hey, let's go play Warhammer"? Who are you when that happens? When you're having a very average, normal conversation? That's the type of person you literally need to bring to these women and coffee dates, because they need to see you in a relaxed environment instead of, "Hello, how can I meet your unmet desires to gain access to your nether regions?" That's how you sound in your sentences. So you got to kind of leave the nerd at home when you're going out and just sound natural. The women are not going to bite at all, because a woman can really appreciate a genuine guy, okay? Especially one who is comfortable with their flaws. And if you come across as a genuine guy, women are going to associate that genuine attitude with some sort of confidence. Like when I was really heavy, when I was really huge, I was a very genuine, confident guy. Even though I had that massive gut, everything that came out of my mouth was confident, natural, wanting to talk, wanting to listen as well. So you're going to have to kind of cut out that nerdy side and let's get to your true self. Let's see. Yeah, that's the problem I see a lot of young men have is
online, that is.
Yeah.
Nerdy, they go online. It's a nerd environment. It attracts the same type. I know there is no magic lines or scripts. I don't think he really thinks that, because he keeps asking the same shit over again. So we're back to conversation again. But just like how a player always uses, I've always used it. Other players didn't know about the animal color water game. I learned it when I was 22 from a friend of mine named Enrique. He was taking Psych 101. They did the whole thing in the Psych class. And that's the game that I use to segue to talk about sex with women. I'm looking for those recurring mainstay questions, looking for a script again, / topics you guys found really effective to emotionally bond / build rapport quickly with her. I don't believe in doing things quickly. It takes time to see, the difference is he wants to just fuck, whereas we own. He wants a piece of ass, own. And it's a different process. So yes, I took them home from the club, but I put them on my team and up them. You start out deeply delving through their minds, met them, but you own them before you met them. You already conquered them.
Yeah.
So he wants the instant stuff like PUAs, just get them laid. And I want to own. I want that to be my.
So it
So
sounds like he's like another person on the forum who I just talked to about this, which is really my fucking top 10 peeve. It sounds like you're here to get a few silver bullets, and when you meet the woman, you just want to fire them and just see what happens. And you're gonna get lucky. It doesn't work like that. How you start is literally how you finish. We can't give you magic words, scripts, or questions that are going to lead you to the pussy. And here's why. Because if you're asking for scripts, you're assuming that these women are stupid. And that's a major fucking violation in the game. Women are born with game. And you know who I learned that phrase from? Supreme. They are born with the game. Even if they don't realize they have the game, they are born with it. Women aren't stupid. Stop looking at them as your enemy or someone less than you or not intelligent or a bad driver. Throw all that out the window. Talk to them on a human level. Start doing that, because there's no questions or anything that we can give you that's going to work for every woman. Everybody's different, literally. Even us black people, we are very different. The same thing with women. They're not a monolith group. They're just not.
Also, he's asking for questions, or he thinks there's words that will cause women to mostly bond. Women mostly bond to the person. So who I am, the power of my personality causes more of the bonding than some kind of questions I've asked. Just to let you know that. So if you got a weak personality, I think we call it swag these days in the African American community. If you're weak in your inner energy, basically, and you sit there like a robot, a geek, asking questions, trying to get rapport with you, and you have no personality, she will not bond with you.
No.
Okay? You're not feeling kind of rapport. So it's more of your personality. That's where you fucked up. You should have been asking, how can I develop the personality that women will enjoy being around me more?
Yeah.
Basically, a framework to work with, he's asking for. Greece, new question. Greece spoke on feelings to evoke in the girl during conversations. What feelings is he trying to evoke, and how does he go about it? That's for you, Greece.
Just one. There's only one feeling that I want. Interest. That's it. I just want interest. I want her, the type of feeling I want is the one where she'll pick up her phone at work and text me to ask me what I'm doing. That's all. That's the only feeling I want, because that opens up to so many avenues. Because if she can take time out or spend her lunch wanting to talk to me instead of her friends, mother, ex-boyfriend, or whoever, that's all I want, is general interest and curiosity. I'm not focused on sex, money, or anything like that. I just want her to give me that interest. That's it. Because everything else will fall into place if she has interest. If that makes any sense.
I hope it does to him. I think the problem is he's from Africa, different mindset.
Okay, is he in the United States or is he in Africa?
No, he's actually in a foreign country. He said the people in the countries he's in are mostly Christians.
Okay.
And that made me assume he's a Muslim.
Well, all right. Mostly Christian. So he could be somewhere in North Africa, possibly. I mean, there are many Christians or in Europe. So we would need more clarification as to where this guy's from. So, and that brings us to another point. I mean, if you're trying to fuck or do anything like that, and you're in a town which is deeply religious, deeply Christian, a lot of the women a lot of the women your age will be programmed and steered towards that already. And there's only, and believe it or not, Jesus is literally the number one enemy of a player, a weak player, that is. A master player, Jesus ain't gonna be much of a problem, because he will put himself next to Jesus in her mind. And that's much higher level game that we can't even discuss here. But at your level, I can see what the difficulty is. But I need more context as to where you're from and who you are, so we can understand what's going on with the women in your circle.
Yeah.
Okay, here's a good one. He has so many questions. Jesus, this.
He really gives a lot.
Yeah. So here's
How
a
do you
good
pick at a
one.
girl's heart, Supreme? I
Well,
don't know what
I
you
can.
mean by pick at. I have trouble
Yeah,
understanding the question. How do I pick at a girl's heart? Does he
because that goes
mean
both
take
ways.
control of her heart or get her to fall in love with me?
Or shit on her.
I don't know which. I'll just talk about how I get girls to fall in love. They fall in love with my personality. These idiots or these guys on sosuave think I'm this bad guy that's just starts fights and shit. That's not my personality. Fun with girls, so I'm fun to be with. I don't have the nerd mentality, so I don't get all uptight. They trust me to tell me their secrets, and I don't laugh at them. In my sex play, like I was talking to Greece, but what's that, Jovina? Huh? Yeah, they are. So,
She really watches Adam Sandler?
Jovina watching Adam Sandler? No, she don't watch him.
Well, that's
No,
where that line comes from. They're all going to laugh at you.
Oh, that's where that comes from, Adam Sandler.
I'm surprised that she would. Wow, interesting. Didn't know that.
It's from.
It's Carrie from that one movie way back.
Oh, the horror movie.
Yeah,
Remember Carrie? It was called Carrie, by the way.
Oh, I actually saw that.
Yeah.
Yo, okay, never mind.
She had to go back further.
Yeah.
Remember, she's 54 now. Getting a girl's heart is easy. They fall over the personality. I find I always attract, in other words, the type of women that are natural, feminine women that are submissive to masculinity. They respect a masculine man that can go out into the world and accomplish. Owning my own business, gave me a leg up in the game. Being a personal trainer, that puts me up on the pedestal of minds. So in bed, the things I did in bed to them, because I always made sure that I controlled her orgasm. She only come when I let her come. That's why I teach you guys in my product how to make her come. Control the orgasm. Stop before she comes and stop and look at her and talk to her and kiss her. And as one girl, you say, "Oh, you cut me short." So that type of man,
there's actually
and they tend to fall for that type of guy that can lead them, that can conquer them. As one girl said, engulf them. So that's how I own a girl's heart, if that's what he means.
We actually have some questions in here right now. So Brother James says, how does Grease dress when he's hunting? I like to just put on a nice shirt, pair of jeans, nice shoes. I don't wear any jewelry, as I'm not a jewelry guy at all. I just like to make sure I look good and I smell good, most importantly. I'm very, very particular about the type of cologne I wear because I like to smell good for women, because that is an art a woman can appreciate. If you smell good, and that's going to just linger with her and just be on her, that'll put her on cloud 9. So that's how I get down that, Mr. James.
Very good. Okay, let's save their questions for last and get to this guy's stuff.
Okay.
So you got a whole bunch of shit.
Oh, wait,
I don't want to really answer all this stuff because our time is valuable, but let's try a couple more of these. Many times the girl doesn't want to seem easy. Often in my area, girls will ask, what is it you want from her? Or if you were here just to have sex. Would you guys respond to this test girls throughout? Okay.
So
I always say,
this is my favorite one. I tell her, when a woman is asking you that, from my opinion, from my experience, when they ask you that, that tells me that they want something more. And that's a great question. When a woman asks me that, then I know that she's hooked on something. So for me, I usually tell them I want everything. I want your time, I want you, and I want you standing right next to me.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have that answer to disarm that question. because that's a valid question she's asking. She wants to know what she's going to get if she further invests in you. That's why she's asking that question.
Mhm.
And when a woman asks me that, I sell her the dream.
Exactly. There you go.
And where
So
do we
the
get
ones who
that
are in a relationship? They will still end up in a relationship with real players.
Right.
All right. They'll
Mr.
date
James.
guys like you, and they'll do whatever guys like us want.
Right. And currently, Chris James is going through this right now with his main, you know, because now she's really up under him in that similar fashion. And that's the type of answer that you're going to have. Because when a woman asks you that, you don't want to hem and haw and be like, well, I don't know. You want to have an answer as a man. You want to tell her, you know what I want? I want a woman to take care of my business. I want a woman who knows how to cook up a good meal and wear what I need to get me excited for her pussy. I want a woman that's going to keep a clean house and be loyal to me and have me give her the world. That's what I'm looking for. You see how it just comes out? And I don't have a woman around me. It just, that's the player mindset you have to have. Because genuinely, I'm being honest about it. That's a small part of what I want, but that's how it comes out. And that's how you have to sell it. Because if you come out with an answer like that, right after she answers that question, she can't tell you that you're lying. So that's how you want to approach that. Okay. And it's not a test.
Next question.
There's no test about it. It's what she's genuinely, what's in her heart and what she's asking you. You need to deprogram yourself from these PUA structures and terms, as everything a woman asks you about yourself and your intentions is some kind of, what's that shit they say? A bitch test? Or
yeah,
you got to deprogram yourself out of that. It's not a test. She's a human being asking you a valid question. It's no different than if you go, let's say, to the neighborhood drug dealer and say, I need 20 grams of fentanyl and 2 kilos of uncut cocaine. How much can I get for 20,000? It's really that simple. You want to know the best bang for your buck. And that's what she's asking you as a woman. Because put yourself in her shoes. Think how many disappointed guys that she's met who've suckered her into getting some pussy or some other shit, and it just haven't treated her right, haven't listened to her, haven't given her just genuine time of asking about herself. Think about that. Put yourself in her shoes and think of her position of what she's asking you. What she's asking you is simply, I like what I see so far, and I want to give you my time, my resources, and my sex and my energy. What am I getting for that? Think about that question.
Okay. We have another question. When the first coffee meetup doesn't lead to sex, would you now let all future encounters be to meet at another venue, or her coming only to your place? And to answer that, I only remember one time where it didn't lead to sex. That was with Jovina, and that's because she was at that time of the month. But definitely, her coming to my place would be the next venue. Grease?
All right, hold on. Just answering something here. Okay, let me see.
So if a coffee date doesn't lead to sex, he's asking, your future encounters be to meet at another venue. I don't know.
This is a dater question.
Come over my place.
Yeah, this is a dater question, so it's kind of hard for me to segue this or translate it into player game, because not every first coffee date isn't going to lead to sex. So let's not put the cart before the horse, and let's just find out simply who she is as a woman, developing a rapport, and taking it from there. When you get to the top of your game, this question's already going to be answered for you. Okay? Let's just start at a very basic level of surviving the coffee date and you sounding like a normal human being.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Well. Next one is, there are situations where the girl is feeling you clearly, but when you would go for the kiss in private, she would say, it's too soon. I've never had that happen. Or and again, dating questions. when you have the mindset of dater, you get a dater's responses.
Yeah.
Remember, I'm at the club, we're dancing, and when I kiss the girl, we kiss. Because she's passed my pre-qualifications. And I talked about that in my other videos, how I qualified a woman on the dance floor. What would you guys do? I haven't had it happen.
Here's what I've noticed with this very early on when I started doing coffee dates, and I pulled myself out of this immediately. I don't go there looking for the first kiss or anything. Because if she's telling you this, how many other guys have tried that shit? Think about it. Because she's getting some experience somewhere that's happened to her that has made her feel uncomfortable to refute that type of thing if it happens again. So there's a method to all the things that we're discussing here, which goes back to one thing. Show up to the coffee date. Don't sound like a high-level mage, okay? Develop a rapport with a female and ask basic questions and learn how to have a conversation. That is literally the foundation of all of this shit that we're talking about. Don't be that guy.
His main problem, he lacks balls. That's why these weird questions. See, we have balls, and when we look at these questions, we're like, huh, what? That's why I keep doing that. He's coming from a place of lacking balls. He's afraid.
And that's okay.
Like he's projecting all this fear shit. What if she says no? Deal with it at the time. Figure shit out.
Yeah.
There's no magic.
So to protect yourself from that, don't go for any of that. Show up, learn how to have a conversation. And the most important thing out of all this, you have to be comfortable in the presence of women. Think about what I just said. A lot of you guys will go on these coffee dates, you'll get around women, and you'll sit there fidgeting like you have athlete's foot or some shit. Learn how to just be comfortable around women. Because you're starting off asking very high-level questions, and your game is not even anywhere near there. Focus on yourself. Focus on having a conversation. Focus on asking conversational questions. Focus on being yourself and feeling comfortable around women. Because if you're nervous and you're sitting there, you're sweating and you're women see this. And you know what women think? Like, oh shit, another one? Like, why is this happening to me? And then when you feel uncomfortable, what do you think she feels like? She feels uncomfortable. Then she gets up, goes to the bathroom, and then comes out and tells you, well, my work called, I gotta go. You see, we're all, yeah, tough question, but that's how you should focus. Yeah.
Continuing in his fear mode, he's asking, I know you mentioned fear regarding touching, but I'm still a stranger. She needs to build a level of comfort with first. Player actually did what I meant on the last video. Instead of nudging them when you make a joke, I was asking, how else do you introduce touching, since she will be on alert with, there's that fear again, with you getting to know her. Women weren't on alert. They're always relaxed around me. I didn't come in like a geek or a nerd. Okay? That's your problem. You're coming in like that. Getting her comfortable with your touches in non-creepy ways. If you think that you're going to be creepy, touching a girl, you're going to come off as creepy. If that's your fear, it's going to come out in you. Okay? You got to end the fear inside of you and the idea that you're creepy. All right? So that's what killing is. Touching should be very natural. Elbow, you know. Come on, girl. You don't mean that. That's just.
Oh shit! It slowed up.
Have to think. Let's get through these real quick, Degree, so we can get to the fellows in the chat room.
Yeah,
we're not going to answer all these goddamn questions.
Just one more thing about this guy's question is, why are you trying to touch her when you should just be getting to know her? Why are you putting your hands on this woman? I don't touch women like that when I go out. I do not touch them. Don't give a fuck, don't care. I'm not putting my hands on anybody. And if you're saying something like a woman viewing it as creepy or non-creepy, so somebody has told you you're being a creep by trying to touch them. Don't do that. Just show up to the coffee date. If you guys hug, hug. You know, if it's customary in your country to give a customary kiss on the cheek, no problem. Other than that, keep your fucking hands to yourself. All right? There's enough shit out there that women have to deal with. You don't need to be putting your hands on anybody. Okay?
I think that's good advice for a beginner.
Yeah.
Now, as advanced fellas, you know, my coffee dates, we end up kissing, going back to my place. But that's because I'm an advanced level player. Okay? Girls, when you're more advanced, that means you've learned to conquer yourself. You haven't learned to conquer yourself yet. You're still full of fear. Your questions relay that fear to me. And that's what's been bugging this whole time. I'm not used to dealing with a massive amount of fear in the form of questions. You're lacking manhood here. If you were more masculine, you wouldn't be so uptight about relaxing, having a good time, talking to just another human being. The power of the pussy has dominated your mind. Could Grease go into that field report on how he met that main chick, to how he owned her to the point? Do you want to do that? Of her having to break off that type of bread on him?
Oh, wow. Oh, that goes, well, everything is all cool. I'll send you an email on that. But so I'm looking through his questions. It wouldn't do any good to answer this, because if you're having trouble just having a conversation with a female, that what you're asking me is literally like, how can I take a boat to Uranus? You can't do it. So let's disregard that type of question, because
okay. Next one should be disregard too. What signs and places do you look for to find win the money? You got to work on just getting a woman. After about your 50th seduction, we can talk about that. Okay. There's another one. The question on quality time was, if you got a main girl you're exclusive with, like Player and Jovina, okay, that you're talking about settling down. If you're talking about being in the game, you shouldn't have a main girl you're exclusive with. So that's a dater question. How do you give her that attention and quality time while building a side business? Okay, I can't answer that. I'm not a dater. You got to get there first. You're asking questions I don't know why you're even worried about the shit. You should be asking the questions of, how can I make my conversation smoother? How can I relax around women? Instead, you ask all these geek questions, and I think I read the Mind Seduction book. Fuck.
How many times have you read it?
It's a lot of info, he says, and I don't want to overthink it.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, God. With your experiences of mind fucking during sex, what phrases stand out to you guys that blow her mind because of how women are natural? This is mine. This is my home. That's all I'm going to tell you. That is enough said right there.
The word that I guess you guys got from me as well, as you've seen in a lot of my game, is I take ownership of that. Ownership. Yeah. Very powerful word. Hand to hand. Lord, hand to hand guys could tell you about that word. So think about it. When you're telling a woman that you're taking command of that's mine, you got to fuck her like you mean it. And if it comes out of your mouth genuine, she'll be down with it. Let's see, what else? Okay, I guess I can talk a little bit about this.
About my arm routine that I posted. He's asking, am I going to post the incline chest workout when I get time? You keep asking me. Don't push me, man. That pisses me off. I'll do it when I feel like doing it, okay? And then that's the end. Also, what URL of the website that will have your new workout product and other products? I don't know, but I don't want you in that new product program, because it's going to be for people like me who are heavy. So he goes, I'm getting organized to get the past shows gold as well. With you shifting URLs where your site, nothing's going to change. Okay? You're reaching too far. Focus on right now. Enjoy the workouts that I've given you. Those are damn good workouts. As you said, he writes, it's intense. Yeah. 23 days a week, that's pretty intense. But I'm sure you can handle it. So let's go to the questions that are current there, Grease.
He had some questions, man. He got the best value for his time.
Yeah.
Brother was asking. All right.
God Almighty.
Woo. But before we break to the questions, let's recap at least what we can discuss here with Mr. 45-year-old simp. I don't mean to come off that harsh to you about what I'd said about what you were doing, but you have to look at it from our point of view as players in the game. Once you go down a certain path, it's very hard to pull yourself back. And literally, unless you're willing to change as a man, it's not going to work for you. So I think that in your position, if you're that deep in simping, keep simping. It's not going to change anything. Be comfortable with the fact that you're a simp. To the other guy that we just spoke to who had that laundry list of questions, focus on being yourself. Focus on not shitting your pants around women when you're talking to them. Learn how to have a conversation. Learn how to talk. If you're having problems talking, you see all those ribbons back there behind that shiny bald head? Take Toastmasters and learn how to talk. Learn how to get along in a group setting. Learn how to listen. It's very fucking important. Okay? And that involves you keeping your mouth shut. Learn how to ask questions that make a woman think for once. Okay? Focus on those things, and if you can get past those first steps, then write us another long fucking letter. And then
No.
All right.
Jack Williams had a. What do you think of? Don't laugh now. Mystery method, not routines. I mean the neutral to breaking rapport tonality. I have no idea what he's talking about. If she shows interest, then and only then do you warm up to her. I don't hoe chase, so
Yeah.
I go for girls in the eye contact. I pick the best of the best, and they're already interested.
Yeah.
So you got to understand what I'm teaching here, Jack Williams. I don't teach run after chicks and throw your power away. I don't teach hoe chasing.
Yeah, that's.
I let the female choose. Women, no matter what you do, whether you're hoe chasing, that means cold approaching, or my method, who they open their legs to. Okay. I was scrolling through the questions, saw that question. I don't think much of mystery method.
I thought he was dead. I thought that guy like died or something, man. But look, if you want to wear funny hats and trench coats in 90-degree weather and wear eyeliner, I suggest you go and find that, because it tells me if you're bringing up mystery in front of the true game, that tells me a lot about where your indoctrination is from. So, yeah. Wow.
Looks like you didn't get my. I sent it about 2:30.
Oh.
The original link, yeah. You must have missed that. Cartoon.
Okay.
The simp shit is being programmed into men by society. Chris James. See all that tough guy, military bodybuilder, MMA shit doesn't mean you're a real man. You know, speaking of that a female I talked to, I actually saved the conversation. It's probably on my old computer. She was dating a colonel, I think it was the Army, and it seems to be happening in the Caucasian community that they want their women to get strap-ons. So she said that to me. She keeps running to Caucasian guys that want strap-ons, and she was a white woman herself. And this dude was a colonel in the Army. He wants to get fucked like a female. So masculinity, these masculine things such as military, MMA shit, doesn't mean these guys are good with women.
Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. It's more disturbing what you find out watching these guys and then hearing these stories. It's fucking disturbing. But I'm not saying that none of that makes you a masculine man. We're not saying any of that. What we're saying is the contrast between men being in these very masculine positions and then doing very simpish oriented things, coming into the game with really bad racial programming or PUA programming. And yeah, that's what we're meaning here. We're not saying that men in the military are less than us or anything like that. What we're saying is the habits picked up by these very same men who are in very masculine, dangerous, or put themselves in harm's way, who act like this.
Jack Williams also thanks us for the show. You're welcome, Jack Williams. J10 is in the house. Chris James, being indecisive kills your entire game in your life. The type of mindset that's indecisive is what's killing his game. It's the fact that he has that kind of mind that will get indecisive. But you're right about that. Let's see. Chris James, I only go for the kiss if it looks and feels like they want to kiss. I go for the kiss when I know that we're having good rapport.
Yeah.
And I do it when I want to do it.
And
let's see,
Chris,
look in her eye. I agree. There's looking in her eye, feeling there. Yeah, you can feel the sexual. Oh God, Mike Nolan. I think of him all the time. Sexual tension go up. J10, Mitch. I hope you're not impersonating my brother. Oh, my bad. It is you.
If your brother's on this site, then you're in trouble, motherfucker, because you got a lot of explaining to do your goddamn brother. Woo!
J10 also says, in that case, then I look forward to see you, brother. Chris James, this fool wants information that's not gonna serve his low-level game. Exactly.
Yeah.
James' game has been growing lately. He's getting better at his game. He goes, oh, Greece, I wound up meeting that woman who ghosted on me the other day. She tried to pull some power intellectual dominant shit on me.
That's a wrap. Yeah. That's why she ghosted on you. Because here's the thing. She doesn't see any simp in you. So she didn't have time to really even try that bullshit with you. And also she probably had other prospects as well in her brain. But she came to you with that weak bullshit and you called it like you saw it. And I'm hoping that, I'd love to hear how that went down, because I've only had a woman actually pull that on me once. And immediately I told her, I said, that's not even what I'm seeking and I'm not interested in. And then she started sending me more nude pictures of herself in order to get some bait to see how I'd respond. And I told her, I said, hey, I'm not interested. Because once a woman tells me, or she tells you guys anything about her being in charge or being dominant or whatever, that is literally her telling me I'm gay. I have no interest. Like, no, I'm cool. There's nothing that a woman can be with me in a dominant position. There's only one woman that can still, on the face of this earth, tell me what to do. And that's my mother. Other than that, it better be a woman with a badge and a gun. So
I've been it twice in the club. First one was a Russian gypsy. I never knew the thing existed. She wanted me to bow to her. I walked away, picked another chick, walked out the door. I saw her looking at me on the way out. The second one was at a club called Harlow's in my town. I was working on that girl named Tina that's in my refill reports. And I gave her my card, and she said, no, this had happened now. And I turned my back and walked away. I don't deal with chicks that are aggressive. Actually, it was the third one. I fucked the bitch already, and I used vanilla oil. I didn't wear a lot of colognes. I used vanilla oil. She said, I don't like that. And, I can see her point, but I didn't call her back. I fucked her that good that morning. I dropped off at their car because she took my car, my place, and I didn't call her back.
Yeah. So Mr. James says here, so he gave us some details. He said, I had her pay for my drink and cracked on her the whole time. She got real soft and serious. And by then I was done with her. Now this is how it's done. And God damn it, you earned your wings for this one, Mr. James, because a lot of guys here would have cracked, folded, and bought into that bullshit. And you got her to pay for your drink. That's damn good. Yeah. And so she got real soft and serious because you literally she showed you her game and you took it from her. And that's, hey, good job, man. Seriously, good job. That makes me proud to see that some guys aren't falling for that bullshit. These women are something else, huh?
The problem is I used to dealing with simps. Yeah. They had all these simps for her, then she met James. Kind of Tony Robbins shit. Tried to project this go-getter persona. chatting with employees, real condescending to anyone she perceived as lesser. Well, she met her better. And that type of girl, when they bow all the way.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can see if you had kept fucking with her and put her under you, she'd be the type to wear a sexy outfit for you and crawl on her knees to suck your dick, just to please you.
Yeah. Most
I
definitely.
found those hard types, they have a soft inner. Indian woman, American Indian or East Indian? Is that your Kool-Aid?
Oh no, it's just ice. Just gave the shopping list to the main to go bring home some shit that we're gonna need. So yeah.
That's why I'm eating watermelon. It lubricates my throat.
Yeah, Indian. So very interesting, man. Yeah. So I wondered if she thought you was an average square white boy who'd buy into that bullshit and tried that on you. That's what I'm really curious about, because the shit she's pulling, she's done with other guys. So yeah. Wonder if she'll call you again.
They're actually becoming popular. Indian women are actually becoming popular because there's a lot of good-looking ones. I never really knew that much about the race, but I've seen a lot of good-looking Indian actresses out there lately. They're starting to come up in like he says, East Indian. Yeah, you know how some of them flaunt their education? No, like the East Asians.
Yeah, I've seen that. I know what he's talking about. I've seen that. Yeah, because to them in the white world, that's somehow like their little badge of honor. But that's a whole nother story. Thing is, though, I want to know what happens if she calls you back. Because here's the thing, Mr. James. If she texts you back, there we go. That's what I was looking for.
Last night.
Yeah. See, I be knowing. So here's the thing. She's interested. Now, here's what you do. Get her to come out again and just get the life story and start over. Because now you got the power. You always had the power. And how you start is how you finish. So have another meeting with her, get to know her, and just see what she's all about. Okay? Don't put your hands on her, don't kiss her, don't touch her. All right? Make her feel like she really doesn't have anything to really offer you. Okay? And see where it goes from there. Very interesting. I knew it. Yeah. She texted homeboy. What are you doing? Hey, haven't heard from you in a while. Get that bitch out there again, and yeah, making my evil side come out, because I ain't had to do that in a long time. Yeah. Wow. Let's see what else we got.
That's why now I like vicariously through the fellow's reports.
Yeah.
He goes, she wants to coach me for success.
Nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, that is perfectly fine. See what she's talking about, okay? Because she's obviously looking to invest her time in a man. And if she's coming to you with that angle, she's looking to invest. And she sees something in you that she wants and she likes. I know it may be a little bit early for you to see that, but that's okay. See what she's talking about, see how deep the rabbit hole goes, and simply stay in a position of power. And the most important thing about all this, Mr. James, take your time. And also, you owe us a proof of ownership from that main you've been getting in. Yeah, love to see that. So, most definitely.
Also, beware that she's used to males bowing. Keep your hard front.
Yeah.
I would actually like to see you just text her, come over my place and wear something sexy. But go with what Grease told you.
Usually because
that's a good way to go.
Usually what I tell a woman, though, if I want her to come over to my place, I always tell them, no panties, no bra. That's what I always like telling a woman when she's going to come over to my place. Because I already want her to know that A, this is going to be sex, and this is what you're coming over here for. B, to see just how much she's going to take commands and listen. Because if she wants to please me, and she knows that's what I want as soon as she's coming in the door, she's going to dress herself like a goddamn Thanksgiving turkey and let me feast. So I wouldn't suggest you straight up tell her that off the bat. But as you're gradually getting in the game and getting into her head, and she's ready to make that trek over to your place, tell her no bra, no panties.
You know, that makes me think of something that someone posted on So Suave. A lot of guys don't realize how much power you can have in the game over women. If you get a woman to dress how you want her to dress, that's power. If you get a woman that wears your sign saying "Property of Richard," that's a major fucking power. These guys, I don't want to use that word, these guys, because I'm a goddamn dean, kept saying that shit. A lot of fellas don't see that. They don't grasp that how much power you can actually own over women. What was I going to say about what someone said to me? Someone assumed that I was living off of women.
Who said that?
That jackass on So Suave.
What's wrong with that?
I never live off women, but if I did, that's more game that motherfucker ever have because he's a fucking virgin.
What's wrong with?
And I don't see that as necessarily a bad thing. Let women treat you like a king.
What's wrong with that?
Yeah.
So
see, he's European.
What's wrong with that?
And we're African.
What the fuck does he think the Mac game is? That's what. What does he think the Mac pimp lifestyle is? You think a pimp is out there working a 9-to-5 job, or he's like a system admin? A pimp is putting women on the street, and he's literally living off of them. A Mac is getting money out of a woman or several women all at once and living. What?
Yep.
Well, are these guys really European. Serious?
He's European. I think he lives in Europe. That far, yeah. You know, Europeans are major simps. Major simps.
Don't worry. All he has to do is come over here. He'll have more game than most black men around here. So
next time I'm gonna do a hangout. I'm gonna invite the Square to come on the show. I'm gonna give them the link to hang out, and let's go to work on this food.
I'd like to also that 45-year-old guy should come on because I'd love to know. Yeah, I'd love to dig in that guy's brain because that's a prime simp, and that's a great lesson for everybody.
He didn't come on the show, but I did send the link. David Steele says, "Is it worth messing with a chick that lives an hour away? I don't mind the drive since I'm used to driving hours a day. For you, David, that's fun.
It's an hour.
I like to girls. Reese likes girls lots of distances. I like girls real close to me, you know, within my own city.
Yeah, I found it kind of irritating when I was living in Oregon because I had women. I had a team member out of state, and that was right up in Seattle, and I had women that were around me, and it was more irritating. And then I had another woman who's my main now, who was living about 8 hours away. So for me, it was easier to have women far away because it did a few things. Number one, it made them miss me. Number two, it made them want to be closer to me, right? Because they can't see me or feel me 24 hours a day. So it was useful for me to have women out there and have women in my town that I was seeing as well, because I can manage my game easier. I send the bitch home 8 hours away. She's gone for the entire week. I'm cool. But I also had to retrain my brain of being with women in the same town, you know, because when they would call me and say, hey, I'd like to come see you tonight, I had to adjust my head to having a woman come over 15 minutes later. And usually I'm used to a woman coming over an hour or 2 hours later. And it helps me get my mind set for what I want to do to her. So yeah, an hour away, no big deal at all. I was thinking about going to see her every 2 weeks. Yeah, I mean, if that's what she needs, I mean, 2 weeks is a long fucking time. So I would probably adjust it to a weekly visit. I mean, but it depends on what the dynamic is between you and this young lady. So we don't really know too much. What happened?
I was gonna play Boy George's Culture Club's "I Know You Miss Me." But yeah, it won't play while I'm on a live call. I love it when girls miss their man. I love it when they beg to come over and to come down. Let's see. David. I met her last weekend when I went to New York. I live in PA. So I was thinking going to see her every 2 weeks. How about you come see you?
Yeah.
I'm getting her
She
life
may not
story,
drive,
putting my
so.
voice in her ear. Good.
Oh,
Good, David.
wonder where he's getting all that shit from. Oh, he's putting the voice in the ear, huh? Good for him. Like to see people out there actually learning and applying the game. Good for him. Good for you.
Yeah.
See? And to the young man who sent us that laundry list of questions, look at what Brother David is talking about. He's simply saying, I'm getting her life story. I'm putting my voice in her ear. So obviously David here is comfortable talking to women. He's comfortable being around women. This is how he's able to get the life story. You see how basic what David is doing is what we've been talking about here? He's actually doing the damn thing, while you, on the other hand, you're sitting there stressing and fantasizing about it. David's just making it happen.
Exactly. He's not doing it. He's sitting there thinking about it. Perfect before he goes out and tries something. And you learn, how are you going to learn the game if you don't go out there and fall down and get up again? Fall down, get up again. You learn what not to do. You learn to refine yourself as you go along, what to say to girls, you know, how to detect their emotions that you're putting into her. You have to go out there and do this thing. And David is out there doing the damn thing. Like I said, put the voice here. You only want her voice, your voice in her ear. He says she already said no about coming to PA. Doesn't want to drive that long. That's not good.
Time out. No, that's not good. Because now she's doing something that she thinks that she has the power for, and to demand you to come out there. So you need to nip that in the bud right away. And I would tell her, well, I can't drive out here all the goddamn time. You need to be forward with her and say, I'm working a lot of shifts. It would be easier if you just come out here, spend the weekend with me, and then, you know, we alternate. If she's not willing to compromise, then she's not a woman that you're going to want to carry on with. Because if she can't look at you and say, oh shit, you know what, he drives out here all the time. Yeah. So nip that in the bud by saying, hey, why don't you come out here and spend a weekend with me? You know, make it sound sweet, get her to come out there and get her used to it. Okay. Get her used to putting in that time to come see you. If she can't do that, it's not a woman I would take serious. But then again, I don't know if you're trying to be a player or a dater. Yeah, that's all you got to do. Next time I see her, yeah,
coming up to New York. Good, tell her that.
Right.
The Unbreakable here. He says, P.S. Met this girl who's in my city for 2 months for an internship. Had coffee with her yesterday, just so she could see my face and get familiar with me. She's out of town for the weekend, but getting it in when she gets back. Good.
Then that's all it is. Yeah. Let her go out for the weekend. Yeah. You be busy. Don't blow her fucking phone up or anything like that. When she gets back into town, just say, hey, next time I see you, tell me about the trip. Remember, it's not your business what she's doing that weekend. You don't know what she's doing. And you're probably sharing the pussy. So just be the best in the pussy. So don't bother her during the weekend. She'll text, just say simply, hey, have a good trip. Text me when you get back and we'll get together. You can tell me about your trip. Until then, leave your fucking phone alone with this young lady. All right? All right.
Chris James says, don't be afraid to lose. This one, Dave said, Chris James, I hear you. Then Chris James says, you want a chick who is willing to do things for you. Yeah.
Somebody's seen the team. He keeps it up. I won't have to do these fucking hangouts anymore.
There's always someone.
I know.
By the way, it's 4:56. Your female is going to be home.
No,
and
it's
also
going to be
time for us to end the show.
Oh, it's all right. Well, I got about 20 more minutes. 30. So we can keep going.
Okay. You mind taking over for a little bit?
What do you want me to talk about? I mean, well, you guys got questions. Yeah, you guys got more questions. Let's see.
All right.
All right.
My camera's going to go silent.
All right. So the first time I met her, she bought me a drink. Good. Nothing wrong with that. If a woman's willing to buy you a drink, that tells you a lot about her, because she's not really into this bullshit about a man coming out and being a simp. So if she's willing to buy drinks and to get to know you, she's also being as genuine as she can be to make the environment comfortable. So that's a good thing. Yeah, go ahead, type them in, and I will answer as we go. Cool. All right. So she's receptive to conversation on the phone, which I like as well. Have you fucked this young lady? I assume you're fucking if you're driving an hour to meet her. How do you kill the old you that is holding you back? I'm going to give you a very profound answer here, Hubert. So I want you to pay attention. Stop doing the shit that you're doing. It is literally that simple. If you decide that you're going to go touch an electric fence and you touch it once and it shocks you, makes you feel uncomfortable, are you going to touch it again? No. Treat it just as that serious. Stop doing the shit that's holding you back. Yeah. So Mr. Estillo says, I'm planning on seeing her next weekend to talk about her coming to PA again. Good. Keep it up. So I hope that answers your question, Hubert, because it's really that simple. If you're fat, lose weight. If you're simping, stop. If you have trouble picking your nose, stop. I still need work. My closure rate from online is still pretty low, what Mr. James says. Yeah, that is true. Nothing wrong with that. You got a ways to go, but in your case, your closure rate will increase if you take your time. Meaning, don't rush. Don't be evil, Chris. Just go with the flow. Feel the flow of the game and move with it. You still got to work on being as genuine as possible. So Mr. David says, I haven't yet. Met her on last Sunday in a bar. Hung out with her for a little bit on Monday for drinks. Okay, you got to get over there and you got to give her something that she could feel. Yeah, you got to you got to give her something she could feel, because nothing's happened yet. You gotta take the lead on this. Have you guys talked about sex? What you guys like? What she likes? That's what I'd love to know. Let's see. Hubert, my history is haunting me. I'm desperate for some success in the game. And then if you have desperation, it's gonna show. It's gonna leak out, and you're gonna wear it like bad cologne, or even worse, like you stepped in shit. So you gotta get rid of that desperation. Okay? The more desperate you are, the more failures are you gonna have in the game. And if you're desperate, it tells me that you don't know what type of man you are yet. Do you know what type of man you are? So back to David, he said, yeah, we talked about sex. So what was that conversation like? Did she get aroused? Did she get turned on? Did she go into detail about what she likes? Tell me some of the things that turn her on. And you use Supreme's watercolor animal game. I've never actually used the watercolor animal game. I have no idea what it's about. The only thing that I ever used was to break the ice on accident was Goonie Goo Goo. That was it. And that was the only thing that slipped out of my mouth.
Really?
Yeah. When I met my first girl I put on the team, and after I got my surgery and I had my motorcycle and I was getting it serviced, and the girl that I was looking at me, and she smiled, and I walked over, and the first thing I said was Goonie Goo Goo, and I was like, oh shit. She said, what'd you say? I said, no, I was gonna cough for a second. And she's like, oh. And Yeah, that was me.
Good.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. Hubert says, how do I know what type of man I am? Well, there you go. See? So who are you? Who is Hubert? Where did Hubert come from? Where's Hubert going? What is Hubert passionate about? What makes Hubert upset? See what I'm asking here? KR Hawkins 91. What's up, Player Supreme in Greece? Hello. Okay. So David says she tells me she's fucked on rooftops and inside oceans. Inside oceans. How does one fuck in an ocean? You mean on a boat? On a raft? On a rigid inflatable boat? On a guided missile launcher? What does she mean exactly by inside oceans? Ah. When it comes to sex, she tells me she hasn't found her match yet. So I think David might have encountered a wild animal, which we call the freak. This brings much more interesting factors into the game. So okay. How did that make you feel when she told you that, David? Did it make you irritated, scared, nervous? Also, how can you tell us exactly what she told you that turns her on? And when she was telling you a lot of these sexual things, was she aroused? Do you know how often she masturbates? What type of porn does she watch? Does she? Yeah, I'd like to know a little bit more of these things as well. Mr. James says, I break into talking about sex by asking them if they're affectionate. Is touching important? PDA. I let them know it is kind of woman I want. Jesus Christ Almighty. Finally, somebody out there has been saying the same shit I've been saying for many, many years. And that is exactly what I ask women to get that. You guys see how he's asking these questions? And he's not coming off strictly from a sexual nature. He's asking the most basic thing a woman needs. Affection. Is touching important? You see what he's asking? He's asking questions to make her feel and evoke certain things. When you ask a woman, how do you like to be touched? How do you like to be held? I haven't met a woman that just goes, well, I don't know. I don't do that. That makes a woman respond. And finally, somebody out there is fucking getting it. And if you guys aren't writing that shit down, you missed a very important lesson. Okay? He's asking questions that evoke certain things. That gets a woman to think. That gets a woman to take herself back to when the last time she was held by a real man. When she was affectionate with a real man. What her needs are. You see what he's doing here? This is not some shit that me and Supreme talk about and just joke about. This is what is going on here. All right. Hubert says the type of man I am can always change. No. I haven't had success in the game for more than 12 years, and I feel like I have to kill that in me to be reborn. How old are you, Hubert? That's what I'm curious about. And a bit more about you. Are you married, divorced, you got kids? That's what I'm curious about. Okay, so David, she said, she told me the last guy she was messing with only gave her 5 minutes of his time. What does that mean? Can you go into detail with that? Because I think the situation would be reversed. Because the way she's talking about is that she's coming at a position of power with these guys and having sex. So I don't think it's any guy that's going to show up, give her 5 minutes and walk out. I think it's the other way around. Can we? Okay. So last night we spoke and I asked her what her needs are, and I was able to find out she wants somebody just to listen and give her more than 5 minutes of time. You hear what she's just saying right there? To somebody just to listen. We were talking about this earlier with another young man. This person just wants to listen. Can you guys hear me? You can hear me, boss? Okay. Wait, I think I muted you. Oh, you muted yourself. Okay. So think about that. She's saying something that we were just talking about repeatedly. She just wants somebody to listen. So good, David. She's lit. She's wide open. So here's what you need to do, brother. I want you to find out what specifically turns her on and ask her that. Simply ask her, what makes you wet? What makes your clit throb? What makes you masturbate? Is there a certain type of porn that you watch? Tell me something that you really want to do and you haven't had a man take you there yet sexually. And listen to the way I say that. It's not a generic, what turns you on? What fantasy you have you ain't done yet? You see how I asked her that? The question I want to ask her? What haven't you done that you want a man to take you there sexually with? I'm already painting that picture in her head to be led into a sexual fantasy. You see? I want you to ask those questions, and you're going to have to get over there and have sex, because this long distance thing is going to blow out pretty quick, because she's waiting on you to light that dynamite. So you're going to have to get over there pretty quick and to do this and to see how deep the rabbit hole goes. So Hubert says I'm 19. Wow. So you were in the game at 7? Because you said you haven't had success in the game for more than 12 years, but you're 19. Wait, yeah. 9 minus 2 is 7, right? Wait, yeah. I'm not stupid, am I? Jesus Christ. Oh, wait. Shit. So does that answer your question so far, David? Yeah, 7. So you were in the game at 12? I mean, I'd like for you to elaborate a bit more on that. I meant 7 years. Okay. All right, in 7 years. All right, you're 19. Don't take it too serious. Here's what you do instead of just finding out, trying to find a coffee date or be in the game. I want you to actually get in a relationship. I want you to go meet somebody and get into a relationship. Literally. I know we are against daters here or anything like that. Meet somebody and get into a relationship. Do that, and whatever happens, if she blows out or you're still with her, come back and tell us what you've discovered about yourself. If you can do that, you're going to find out what kind of man you are. Okay? All right. Okay, she's a freak and a half, definitely. Tells me she has handcuffs. Okay, so she likes to be tied up. Good. She tells me guys would brag about how good their sex skills are and then they are disappointed her in bed. So this is what comes into play when I have to paint a picture in a woman's head, because I want her to feed off of what fantasies I'm putting in her mind about what I'm going to do to her. So this is very important. You got to get in that head. You got to increase that sexual talk. You got to get her into her guttural state. If she's a freak and she's doing this already, she's already halfway there. You got to get in a car and go over to PA and seal the deal, because it's time. You got to literally give her something to think about. Okay, no more talking. I think you've done enough. Time's up, buddy. You gotta get those few fantasies or what turns her on and roll with it and get over there. All right. Yes, you'll have to fuck her really good physically, but you'll also have to fuck her mind. And while you're fucking her, you're gonna have to be wide open and start talking dirty to her. Okay. Now, I can't tell you how to talk dirty, but that's what you got to do, man. And once you do it, come back, get on the board if you're on the forum, or find another hangout that we're going to do one day and tell us what had happened. All right. All right. Next question. And it's African living in Ireland. Jesus Christ. Interesting. I think Ireland's going to have their first gay Indian prime minister. if not already. So I'm wondering how that's going to work. All right. You guys got more questions? See,
Gay Indian Prime Minister.
Yeah, you didn't read about that? You didn't see that?
No.
Do you watch the news?
I don't watch the news.
You're older than me. You got to be watching news, brother. Yeah. India's about to have their first gay Indian prime minister. I wonder how those white Irish far-right guys are going to take that. They're going to be really losing their minds.
Oh, yeah.
I know, huh?
I busted someone on sosuave for being alt-right. He had the picture of the frog. That's their one of their things, using Pepe the Frog, with Trump's hair. Excuse me. And he took the picture down today, the avatar. I said this dude is alt-right. There's a bunch of racists on that site, like it was in the old days. Bunch of racists.
Yeah. Oh, Lord.
Yeah, that's what I get for offering free advice, sneaking in there, giving them free advice.
Yeah.
Any more questions? See, you're talking to Hubert. Cool. Hey, Babo. Have kind of an energy question. Does a shower I can't talk right now. Hold on.
I sent you the link on that gay PM. Those guys are going to fucking go nuts over there in Ireland when this shit hits. Oh, Jesus. They're going to go mad. Okay. Supreme, I think you might want to add, answer Mr. James' question there. So Unbreakable says, Greece, I have 3 girls on the team. Don't go higher than 3. I'm working my way up to the master level. What is the master's level? Ultimately, I want to be Mac and get that money like you did. Yeah, I'm sure. Not saying that it's impossible. What advice do you have for a player at my current stage? Well, I don't know your game or what you're doing or what your problems are, so I don't know what advice to give you. So I'd have to know more about what you're doing in your game to actually give you some advice. And we got 15 minutes left, so it's going to have to be on the next Hangout. Hubert says, I had sex with 4 women by 12, and it was all easy. I came to Ireland, and I got a bit isolated, and I was shook. Well, you're still in Ireland, right? So why are you still shook? So get away from the wrong people. Aren't you your own man? You can't just stop associating with people who do dumb shit. And you're still in Ireland, right? So you're not dead, murdered, hacked up, killed. You're not sitting in an Irish prison. Why are you still shook? What do you have to be shook about? I mean, are you shooting at Protestants? Are you joining the IRA? What's the problem? Why are you so shook?
Oh, there was a question for me.
Yeah, Mr. James had a question about energy.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. I have kind of a question. It feels better when I threw up. Does a slower year than the previous mean a change in my energy, or just incidental? I don't know. My energy always grew. So let's look at this from the point of logic. If you had a better year last year and you're slowing down, then something's happening. What's going on that's changed your energy level? You should be growing in the game. Your energy should be growing, not slowing down. It should reach a peak level. When you wake up in the morning and you love life, You got all the women you want on your team. They're treating you like a king, and you feel like you're master of your world. That's your goal, your eventual goal that you want to get to. So if that's not happening, then something's happening that's slowing you down. Don't know if it's job related or family related, but there is something going on that's slowing your energy down. Okay. Looks like Hubert said he got a bit isolated, also around the wrong people. Hubert reminds me of one of these African brothers in a foreign country, which he is, that doesn't communicate with the people around him because he feels lost. He feels alone over there in Ireland, and he hangs out, he said the wrong people. KR, you guys heard about this young guy out in Maryland that got stabbed in the chest by white supremacists? Well, yeah, we did. Also, out here on the West Coast, there was two guys got stabbed because this white supremacist was attacking this black girl and this girl that was wearing a hijab. It's called a hijab. Yeah. As we know, since Trump has been in office, the amount of white supremacy stuff has gone through the roof.
Yeah.
That was my dislike of not wanting him in there, because that would grow. Because the racists sided with him; they wanted him.
Yeah. Even I had to go up against that prior to the election. Got into a fight with some white guys in a park because they were throwing rocks at me and shouting out "nigger" while I was jogging, and I had to go down there and show them what's happening. And then the funny thing about it, a few weeks later, saw the same dude who busted his nose and gave him a black eye in Rite Aid with his parents. Kid was like 21, and wow. He came up to me and apologized, and I was like, "Yeah, huh? Yeah." So it's out there. The only thing that we got to, as black people, I guess there's severities to racism and how we take it, because for us it's like a woman on her period or stubbing your toe, and we have to take those things and just go, it ain't that serious, or just say fuck it. And then there's sometimes where even us as black people, we have to actually go out there and put our hands up and deal with it. So a lot of this stuff isn't shocking because as black people, we're used to death. That
goes for biracial, like Chris Williams. I'm sure he's faced racism from white folks. They don't like biracials. The ones who are racist, they don't like biracial.
Well, they like the right type of biracials.
Yeah, maybe
that, and the biracials who are Asian and white, Indian and white, or something exotic and white. They love that. But
about the,
yeah.
Yep. Hubert says racism can be hard on a brother, especially when it comes to things regarding building your self-esteem. My confidence was really waning. What helps a lot of me and a lot of other brothers is learning our real history. I don't know what history you learn in Ireland. I know in America, all we were taught was slavery. He goes, I'm building myself again, listening to your advices.
So Hubert, where are you from? That's the question, because that's where you left your confidence. Because if you left Africa to be in Ireland and your family came to Ireland, right? Think how hard it was for them to get there. Think how many Africans can't be where you are. So I don't know why you're lacking confidence, man.
I believe he's also small in stature, and that could be hard on a brother. Yeah, I already knew it was Kenya. Yeah, I said Kenya, Hubert.
Yeah.
But the other brother was from Kenya. He's built like a brick shit house.
So what's the problem? Because I read articles about a lot of tourists going to Kenya for tourism sex and women marrying Kenyan guys. So I don't know what your problem is, man. That's strange. But then again, I don't know you, so I'd have to see you to. Yeah, interesting.
Hubert, you're in Ireland. All they got to do is look down in your pants and they'll feel inferior. You're African, so don't forget that. Okay?
Yeah, that's another place. One of my stops of many is Ireland, once again. So very curious to see it, what I'm going to encounter there.
Chris says Chicago and most of the surrounding suburbs races mostly get along.
Yeah.
Not
Jesus.
Sacramento, we mostly get along here too, but we
Yeah.
do have those incidences that do occur. And they occur all over.
Place yeah.
Yeah.
That's one place I never want to fucking live is Illinois.
No, neither. Chicago, no, thank you.
Fuck
Cold.
Chicago, man. That's just Jesus Christ. He's got to be a hard motherfucker to be living. No wonder Chris always has that face like he's about to kill. Like he's got that face like he's Destro from G.I. Joe. Just no emotion. No wonder he's. Yeah, he's probably, he probably has to be on guard everywhere he's going in Chicago because there's nothing there but just motherfuckers shooting and fighting. So you know he's already waiting for somebody to try him. Jesus Christ, man.
That's why he studied martial arts.
I know, huh? Oh, well. Good for him, man.
Chris James, can your ass fight?
I'm sure he can.
He did mention that, he got more shit from the brothers, the black side. And black folks, we could be really hard on biracial. I asked my dad. He never got any kind of shit.
Wait a minute.
In the little town
Chris James is biracial?
Yeah.
Like what kind of biracial?
Black and white. Vin Diesel.
No! Are you serious?
What?
That Chris James is half black, half white?
Yeah.
I thought he was like some Italian white dude or something.
No, he's a brother. He's a brother by a different mother.
I gotta email you. We gotta. Wow, I didn't know that. I thought he was just like, I thought he was like from Jersey Shore or some shit because he's got the complexion, but I couldn't see that he was half black and half white. Very interesting.
Because the avatar he's using could be kind of confused. Look like an old Spaniard or some shit.
I'm wondering what the shit he's heard about black people from other white people, because I know Chris doesn't go around advertising that. Neither does Vin Diesel, because a lot of people think Vin Diesel's Italian for some reason. So I'm wondering. That's a very good insight to have. Yeah. Huh. Man, the shit you discover about people. Because as black people, fully black, you can identify and feel for biracial people. Like you kind of know when you look at them and you see that nigga nose and face, and you know like, hey, there's some black in your family, huh? Like you know that. But looking at him,
I've gotten pretty good at spotting biracial, even 1/4 blacks.
Yeah.
I can see. You see the elements of the Africoid, as they say, Africoid features.
What do we call those things? Quadroons?
I'm real assertive, and demand respect for my women. I have to earn that. So when baddie doesn't go with my flow, I cut them off and use it as a lesson to grow. Good.
Stop. Well, that's a bad way to go about the game. Because when a woman's acting up in your stable, part of it's your problem and part of it's her problem. Because she's reacting to how your game is. And if you're just firing bitches because they say no, are you asking why they're saying no?
He said a baddie. I think he's talking about dudes.
No, he's talking about women. That's a term for women.
So when a baddie, what the fuck's a baddie?
A hot chick. Yeah, I just figured out I found out what John means. That's another term for it, like baddie or JAWN. That's like they're interchangeable.
What's it? What do you mean? What? Never mind. I can't keep up with the new words. So it doesn't go with my flow. I cut them off and use it as a lesson to grow. So if, like what Grease said, if she's acting up, that's also a lesson that your game has gotten weak.
Yeah. Okay. Unless by certain circumstances within her life that you haven't discovered or other outside influences, then your game is weak. And you always have to tailor your game, because if a woman's having problems with your game, with your program, she's asking inadvertently for help, and she's looking for you to give her that guidance. So stop firing these women when they act up. Okay, you got to think with your player mind and react with your player mind. When a woman is acting up in your stable, why aren't you putting her on timeout and then going back to see what her problem is, and then giving her the right amount of check to straighten herself up? That's what you should be doing. You shouldn't be blowing out women.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Every other day. That's really abnormal.
If every female's acting up that you meet, then there's something wrong. That's point out there's a problem there. Let's see, I actually earn when a baddie doesn't go with my flow. I cut them off and use it. So you're actually trying to learn to grow from it, and that's good. Okay.
But you can't just cut them off and discard them. Don't do that. Find out what the source of her problem is, and either inject your mind fucking back in there, find out what the real problem of the game is, and fix it. Okay? I've never ever had to do that where I've fired women consecutively like that. That's really abnormal. So that's something you need to do, and come back and talk to us about it.
Actually, I've had to fire females because they got tired of waiting for me to commit. They got tired back when I was young. They got tired of waiting for me to commit. They wanted all my time. They would act up, and if they were given nothing but bad times, they got no time.
Yeah.
So they got put on that. I guess you call it timeout. I just call it firing.
But what I don't want him doing is he's getting rid of girls every goddamn week. That's really bad. Okay, and if you're firing 2 or 3 females a month, that's even worse. Okay, it tells me that your game is leaking.
He says, no, my 3 girls are consistent. Okay.
Okay, then
are other girls I'm trying to add to.
No, stop. 3 is enough. Don't go any more than that. You're not even at the level to do 3 or more. Stop where you are.
Think I made. I was dating. Well, I wasn't dating, but I was fucking at one time 13 bitches. Yeah. And I work as a personal trainer. I own business. So it ate up too much of my time. I always kept 6. I don't know why, because I was born 6th day of 6th month. I was superstitious about number 6. I always kept 6 on my team, but the best number is 2 or 3. Yeah. That way you have time for your other to work on yourself, to build your life, to work on starting a business, all that kind of stuff. Don't make my mistakes.
Yeah, don't go higher than 3. And the thing is, the biggest mistake a lot of these guys make is that they get a starter and then they're on to the next one. Until these women are literally holding your sign of ownership, and we have seen it, there's no other reason for you to be moving on to anybody. Okay?
Yeah, there's a white guy on my forum that had his female tattooed his street name on her head. Yeah. Okay? That's from a white dude. All right?
and that's ownership, man. Hats off to that guy.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see.
He says, "What's your mindset, guys? I want to adapt to my life." You share the same mindset. We don't share the same mindset. I don't think we do. No. I have issues. I just like to destroy women, and that was a sickness that was within me. I like to destroy their confidence. I love to break them down, because they thought they were so hot, and I'd break them down, show them the flaws. Greece, I think he's more of a cultivator. He cultivates them. Yeah, and he will break them down if they act up. See, I came in doing that type of shit. I had issues in my life that he didn't have, so mine came out in my game, and I fixed them towards the end of my game.
Yeah. So the mindset, I mean, that could be relatively anything that you're trying to discuss. Yeah. So here's a homework assignment for you, Hubert. Find out exactly what mindset you mean. Next time we have a hangout, come back and let us know what mindset it is you're trying to acquire. Because let me
say mine was, I was God to bitches. That was my mindset. Okay? Yeah. Because I broke them down in bed, I broke them down with my words. So I reached the point of virtual, a big head, a big ego. That's what those guys on So Suave complain about. I came online with my game was through the fucking roof. and I'm talking to these people way down here. So that mindset that I always had was that I was better than any of the females that I ever went out with, or that I ever blessed with my time. See, I said blessed with my time, and I think Greece has that similar mindset in that area.
Yeah, I didn't adopt that similar mindset until probably my way later stages of the game. But then again, I don't have an ego like that. Everything for me is about the hunt and what I can acquire and long-term management. It wasn't really about getting women and destroying them or anything like that, because I knew I could do that, but there's no need for that. And that's the thing. My game is more quiet rather than explosive like his, where he's breaking women down and all that. I didn't want to go there yet because I'm all about things aren't necessary until it is. So that's where him and I differ. But we share the common mindset of how the game is practiced and the tenets of the game, which he made and I followed. So, yeah.
So my mindset was, a bitch better be beneath me when she stands next to me. And I saw the need for that. You said there's no need for that. For me, I was in the clubs.
Yeah.
These club bitches got fucking egos. So I broke them down on the floor, showed I was a better dancer than they was, and I taught them some shit, got them pulled into my dance world. Some of these bitches, they got egos, man. They got that bitch shield on. They think they're all that. Oh, you're not all that, bitch. Come on, no. Let me show you what all that is about. So that was my mindset.
All right.
Overconfidence, basically. I was overconfident.
It is time for me to handle my business. This was a real good hangout. Thank you for inviting me. Sorry I joined late, but I was preoccupied with somebody else. I'll tell you all about that.
Everything? Okay, send me an email about that.
Oh, I can tell you a little bit right here. Went and saw her, fucked her in the office again, and she was crying and shit. And while we were having sex, but that's normal for her. And asked me again if I could move in. So
Greece. I love that shit.
Yeah,
I'm like, lamb, man. She was crying, man. Tell me about that.
So
that's
I
okay.
know when she's gonna cry because she likes it when I'm on top, and she always cries on my chest when she's coming. So for her, she says it's like she feels very close to me because she says it's an emotional and sexual release for her to cry. So because she knows it's not tears of sadness, it's tears of joy and pleasure.
Yeah.
And she said I'm the only man she's ever cried with on a regular basis like that. So
Very
but
good.
Monday at 3 p.m., none of that's going to be relevant anyway. So
Cool.
So yeah. I'll send you an email later on tonight, brother. I got a few questions to ask you about some of the things that we discovered. Other than that, everybody, it's been a great hangout once again. So yeah, watch out for the next one.
Okay, I'll see you soon.
All right, man. Peace.
Okay, Dunn Breakable says, there are girls I'm trying to add to the team. These are girls. Okay. There's one girl I was trying to add to my team. We fucked 3 times. Each time she came. Good. And I was thinking I was going to add her to the team, but she stopped returning my calls, so I cut it off. Well, why did she stop returning your calls? Just out of curiosity, what do you think? Chris James, I love dealing with the chicks with attitudes. Let me unleash my bad boy side. See, I have an evil side, Chris. I won't even go into that. When they had attitude, I love to bust it down. I was in the clubs for over 20 years, and I just grew to just get so tired of that bitch attitude just because she's all dolled up. She thinks she's all that. I looked at them and talked to them like I was above them. Like how I met Jovina. Remember, you guys told you? I walked over. She was talking to the bouncer. I just took her by the hand and walked to the floor. That teaches those females how to act. The Unbreakable. After that, I had a simping episode, but I overcame that and now use girls who blow off as learning opportunity. Good. Okay, let's see. J10, what's up? Kara, my buddy meet a chick from POF. She's on the way to this place. That's one of the posts that one of the guys figured out who I was on So Suave. I put some videos about POF. I get chicks email me, and I give them some advice. You guys got to build a good profile. Build a good profile, they'll come meet you. These guys think, for some reason, that there are no attractive women on POF. Now I think about it, I think I want them to keep thinking that. That way it keeps that type of mindset off that site. Because that type of mindset, they're shitty people to begin with. They only want to fuck girls because of not just their physical looks, actually. They don't give a fuck if she has a decent personality. They just want to fuck so they can show their boyfriends off. Look, I fucked that hot babe over there. The Unbreakable, she gave me some bullshit saying she was really busy and visiting family and shit. And I said, cool, just call me back. But she never did. Oh. Sounds like you didn't give her some good dick. If you give her good dick, she'll break her neck to get back to you. If she thanks you after each session, that's good dick. Okay? So size just doesn't cut it. I think you're black. Yeah, you're black. Size just don't cut it. You gotta know how to use it. All right. I want to finish up those questions before I bounce. You guys have a good weekend. And this was a good show. I hope to see you guys soon in the future. And next time we'll try to do it at a different time. And you guys have a good weekend. Peace.